Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, or good morning. Whatever time you're watching Orange First, welcome to the show. I'm Lionel Bienvenu. Orange First is your first look ahead to Christmas night in Kansas City. We're talking Broncos with the experts. Right here.
That would be me.
Woody Page.
That's me.
International man of mystery and Broncos insider, Troy Rink. All right, guys, we sit here going into KC on Sunday night with the Broncos at 8-6. Needing to win their last two games to get to 10-6 and have any shot at the playoffs this year.
I'm going to be Mr. Brightside. Even if they win out, they may not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
If Miami wins on Christmas Eve, Denver may basically be out before they play on Christmas Day. And now they're kind of a house divided. The defense is a little tired.
Headline reads division at Dove Valley. Although everybody said this week there is no division.
Why don't you just shut up and let me take over here? You say they may be basically out. You heard from me that if Miami wins at Buffalo, it's over. It doesn't matter if the Broncos show up. They could forfeit the game because they will be out. I have examined all the tiebreakers, and even if they win their two games, they're going to have to worry about Miami, Baltimore, Houston, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Tennessee.
Not Tampa Bay, because they're not meant to. That would be the one team they don't have to worry about.
Worry about everybody. But here's what we're worried about right now, guys. This week at Dove Valley, we learned after the Patriots game when the Broncos offense scored all of 3 points and turned the ball over 3 times that Russell Okung got up to speak to the team, and Aqib Talib shut him down, and this division at Dove Valley came out. But everybody said it's okay. It's a positive thing.
Well, Gary Kubiak said he's been in a locker room 400 times in a post-game. This was really not a lot different from things he's seen. Essentially what happened was Kubiak opened the floor and said, kind of speak your piece. What do you guys have to say? And Okung started to talk and was shot. That's probably the wrong word to use, that he was shot down by Talib.
Shut down, not shot down.
He was shut down by Talib. Freudian slip. Freudian slip. But he was told, hey, you guys aren't doing anything. And a couple other defensive backs jumped in. It's not a revelation, because if you just look at the quotes in my game story or anybody's story afterward, the defense wasn't hiding its frustration, Lionel. Right. Chris Harris is like, hey, we held Tom Brady to 16 completions, and we lost. T.J. Ward's like, we can't get out. We scored 3 points. You can't win like that. Point blank, period. They weren't hiding it. It was just it came to light that in the post game, and Okung told us earlier in the week, told me specifically, he talked it out with Talib. But talk about a guy who's not handling losses well. Talib, in their losses, pushed Jordan Norwood. Has basically threatened the life of Harry Douglas.
Yep, went after Douglas.
And got into a verbal spat with Okung. They have 2 more games left. I'm a little worried where this is going if they lose again, Woody.
Well, after they played New England and shot themselves in the foot. Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do you got to go there? Wow. Why do you have to go there?
I'm just following you. But we have to actually joke about it, because in the last 2 weeks, the Broncos have scored 1 touchdown. And you don't belong in the playoffs. You don't belong in Kansas City, even on Christmas night. But I have 3 thoughts about what happened in the locker room after.
1 for each of their points?
That would be good. Yes, thank you. A would be that the defense shouldn't really go after the offense.
No, they shouldn't. They're just frustrated.
I don't think that's really good for the team, because what happened, because I do ESPN, and we know that became a national story. Right. That became a bigger story than anything else that happened on Sunday, because they are the defending champions, and that's not the way you handle themselves as defending champions. Here's what I have to say. Number 2 is the offense has to own it. They have to eat it, because they haven't played well all year long. Maybe a couple exceptions, and I have problems remembering.
Maybe at Tampa Bay.
Sure, against teams like Jacksonville, and they didn't really play that well at Jacksonville. So the offense has to eat it, and for Russell Okung to get up and say, "I want to talk about it," he shouldn't. He should just keep his mouth shut. And the third thing, which I think is most important, that says something about the Broncos, the guy in the stadium that could have prevented all of that after the game. Then there was a guy in the stadium who wouldn't have allowed that. Peyton Manning was at the game. Yeah. And where did he go after the game? He didn't go in to congratulate. He went and talked to Tom Brady. That's what they're missing. And DeMarcus Ware's talked on Monday after the game and was talking about, it's just something goes on there. Well, where are you being a leader? Where's anybody on the offense being a leader? Where's Russell been all year long trying to be a leader?
Well, he's trying to be a leader, but he's not in Seattle
It's
anymore.
too late. It's too late. Right. It's too late for him to be a leader. Where's Aqib being a leader of this team? Where's Chris Harris Jr., who's talking after the game about we held him to 16 points? Well, what did they do? Those guys, there is not a leader on this team. You got Trevor Siemian coming out after the game in a work shirt that looks like he just came from a prison outbreak kind of uniform duty on the highway. Give me a break. Go up and dress like you're a pro. And I'm just saying that there's not a leader on either side.
I'd say there's a leader on defense, leaders, plural, and namely the secondary. There's not a leader on the offense. You're totally accurate, Woody. There is no leader. And they've missed C.J. Anderson. That didn't help. Emmanuel Sanders is a vocal guy. He's not the leader right now. They don't have a true leader. They don't. You're right. They don't.
But
Demarius Thomas is the leader, captain,
the leader was in the stadium. And if John Elway and the Broncos, Bolin Trust and everybody wasn't so in such a hurry, he had one more year left on his contract, they ran him off. I mean,
he couldn't play anymore.
Did he win a Super Bowl last year?
Barely. And I love Peyton.
But he knew how to dial it into a situation that won. They had the same kind of defense last year as they have this year, and they won a Super Bowl. This year, it's a very good chance they'll end up 500.
Right.
And what is the difference between last year? Don't tell me about a couple of guys that are missing on defense. Don't tell me about they've had some injury problems. They had injury problems last year. They were missing a couple of key guys with injuries last year. The difference is, I repeat myself, Peyton Manning is no longer here, and as an old Rockies broadcaster used to say, and he ain't coming back.
Exactly. All right, let's do some business here. Let's do the Pump the Brakes with Brakes Plus segment here. We look back to what DeMarcus Ware said. He said, this happens. Let's take this frustration, put it in a bottle, and he said, kind of shake it up and unleash it on the Chiefs on Sunday night. Can this be a positive thing moving forward into Kansas City?
No, let me go first.
I'm not sure.
No, it's not a positive. And forgive me, it's Christmas time. It's a holiday period. But
right.
No, you can't use this. Kansas City coming off a defeat at home to Tennessee. You don't think they're going to be fired up to play? And on the other side is a team that's got dissension on both sides of the field.
Right.
I don't think that you take anything from this. Just get the seasons over as far as I'm concerned. But in regard to let's say that they want to go out and win 10 games, they don't have the equipment. They're not equipped to beat both Kansas City and the Oakland Raiders.
Not on offense, you're right.
And if they were, let's just take the most positive point in the world. Let's say that they managed somehow to squeeze past in the fourth quarter. Here's a point. They couldn't go to Pittsburgh and win. And you got to look back at the last 7-8 games of this season. They lost, 5 out of 7? And they barely beat
6 of 10, 3 of their last 4.
And they shouldn't have beaten New Orleans. That was
a miracle.
So this is a team that doesn't deserve to be in the postseason. It doesn't deserve to win its last 2 games. It is a bad year, and that's what happens to 15 teams before them that played in the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl the year before,
right.
that you're just not the same the next year.
All right, Troy, let's do the Xfinity X1 injury report right now. We got Derek Wolfe, A.J. Derby, Virgil Green, Brandon Marsh, a lot of guys banged up. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday night? Who's going to be ready?
Derek Wolfe told Denver 7 he will play. He got 2 stingers in his neck and shoulder area. He's already feeling better. He should be fine. A.J. Derby and Virgil Green both in the concussion protocol. I would not look for either to play. Derby we didn't know about until on Monday, and then it doesn't look great. Brandon Marshall, left hamstring. I would expect him to play this week.
All right, beautiful. All right, guys, let's do Woody's rant right now. Then we'll talk about what we think.
His whole life is a rant.
He just ranted for about 10 minutes here. But Woody, do you have something else to rant about now?
Sure, I do a rant every week, but because it's Christmas week, I've decided to talk not a rant, but rave. Oh. And we've talked in the first several minutes about the Broncos and the issues they're having. Chris Harris Jr. on Monday and Tuesday night got with a lot of different people and raised money for the rescue mission and raised money for kids. DeMarcus Ware has taken kids out at one of the big box stores and bought them presents. Derek Wolfe has major charities that he helps. T.J. Ward T.J. Ward, Shane Ray. You look around at players on that team, and we
Shaq
hear
Barrett is
we hear so many things about the NFL and all the players, the violence and the abuse and the off-season problems, even involving the Broncos. But I think we ought to take a moment at Christmas and say that I think we've rattled off a bunch of veteran players. I hope the younger players learn from this, not only with the Denver Broncos. Throughout the year, I'll just make a point. We saw a funny moment last night where Ezekiel Elliott jumped in a Salvation Army kettle, if you will, on the sidelines. And the Salvation Army said today that that during the course of the week there had been over $250,000 that they normally don't get that was donated online. So I want to take a moment. We hear all the bad things about NFL players. During this holiday week, let's salute the players because they do reach out in the community and try and help, particularly at a time of the year where a lot of people need to be helped.
Amen, brother. And the NFL decided not to fine Ezekiel Elliott for his excessive celebration, and he decided to donate the amount of the fine anyway to the Salvation Army. So, Woody, you are spot on for this holiday season. All right, guys, let's wrap up the show with predictions for Kansas City. Obviously, it's a must-win, and so will the Raiders game be the next Sunday.
May not be a must-win.
Yeah, well, you're right. But if you want to get to 10 wins, it is a must-win. If the Dolphins win, then must-win goes out the door. But what do you see happening Sunday night, Troy?
Similar to these last few games. The defense keeps them in the game. They just don't score enough offensively in the red zone. I mean, the red zone and third down have killed them.
Yeah.
So I see them losing another close game. The Titans just beat Kansas City. What was it, 19-17?
Yeah.
I see Denver losing in a very similar fashion, 18-15 type game, bunch of field goals. I just don't see in that weather and those conditions, with possibly nothing to play for, I don't see how Denver can win that game.
Kubiak said something interesting. He thought Trevor had the hurry up, which we've been calling for all year. So I think we'll see a better offense in Kansas City. Although Kansas City's defense is somewhat not equal to, but it's in the Tennessee came in with their running game and barely won the game. I do think that Kansas City, because of what happened against Tennessee, they realize the importance there. I always tend, when I pick games, to say who needs the game the most. The Broncos really don't need the game. I'm saying that because I don't even think they'll need the game because I think Miami will beat Buffalo. I'm saying 24-10, Kansas City. I think they, at home, it's going to be raining and snowing for people that are going to be there. It's not going to be as cold as it normally is in December. And they are, I told you weeks ago, in December games in Kansas City, they're 2-17. What makes you think it's going to change?
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs 24-10, but I'm pulling for the Broncos because I started the season 10-6, and I'd like for them to win their last game, so I'd be absolutely correct.
Well, for all the reasons you guys just said, I'm going with the Broncos, 20-17. I picked the Titans. I picked the Patriots. I'm going with the Broncos for this game because you never know in the NFL what's going to happen. You can never, Hey,
sorry.
The Chiefs want the game, need the game more. The Broncos may not be playing for anything. That's why the Broncos are going to come out and win this game 20-17 on Sunday night. All right, we'll see what happens, guys. Thanks for joining us on Orange First. Woody Page, Troy Rank, and Lionel Bienvenu. We'll see what happens Sunday night in KC. Hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you, and we'll see you next week.